Hello, friends. I've got something really special for you today. We're diving into stories about people who claim they've met their future children. Kids who don't exist yet, at least not in our current timeline. These encounters have left people questioning everything they thought they knew about how time works. So settle in, because these stories are about to get weird. Story 1. The Girl at the Grocery Store. By You Too, Timeline. Torn. I need to tell someone about this because it's been eating at me for 3 months now. I'm 32, single, no kids, never been pregnant. This is important context for what I'm about to tell you. It was a Thursday evening in March, around 7:30. I was at the Kroger near my apartment in Columbus, Ohio, doing my weekly shopping. I'd just turned into the cereal aisle when this little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, came running up to me. "Mommy!" she yelled, and wrapped her arms around my legs. I froze. Completely froze. This kid had my exact hair color, this unusual reddish-brown that my hairdresser calls cinnamon toast. She had my nose, the same slight upturn at the tip. But her eyes were this striking green, nothing like my brown ones. "Sweetie, I'm not your mum," I said gently, trying to peel her off me. She looked up at me, confused. "Yes, you are. You're just younger. Dad said you'd be younger." My heart started racing. "Where's your dad, honey?" She pointed down the aisle, but nobody was there. When I looked back at her, she seemed scared. "You don't remember me yet, do you?" she whispered. "What's your name?" I asked. "Lily. Lily Marie." She grabbed my hand. "You named me after Grandma." My grandmother's name was Lillian Marie. She died when I was 15. I've never told anyone that if I had a daughter, I'd want to name her after my grandmother. "How do you know about—" I started, but then a voice called out, "Lily, there you are." A man appeared at the end of the aisle. Tall, dark hair, those same green eyes as the little girl. He looked familiar, in a way I couldn't place, like when you see someone out of context and can't remember where you know them from. He saw me, and his face went pale. Like, actually pale. He rushed over and grabbed Lily's hand. "We have to go. Now." "But Daddy, it's Mommy. She's here," Lily protested. He picked her up, not looking at me. "Not yet, baby. Not yet." As he turned to leave, carrying her, Lily reached out toward me over his shoulder. "See you later, Mommy." "In 8 years." They disappeared around the corner. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds before I snapped out of it and ran after them. The aisle was empty. I searched the entire store. I even asked the security guard to check the cameras. He pulled up the footage. There I was, standing in the cereal aisle, talking to nobody. Just me, alone, gesturing at empty space for about 2 minutes. But here's the thing. I have a handprint on my jeans. A small, child-sized handprint in what looks like marker or paint. "It's purple, her favorite color," she'd said while she was hugging me. "I've washed these jeans 4 times. The handprint won't come out." I know how this sounds. I'm a rational person. I work in accounting. I don't believe in this stuff. But I met my daughter. A daughter I don't have. A daughter who, apparently, I won't have for 8 more years. I've started paying attention to men with green eyes and dark hair. Is that insane? Sometimes I dream about her. She's always 8 years old, always calling for me, always just out of reach. What am I supposed to do with this? Story 2. The Boy Who Knew My Name. By You's Future Dad. This just happened 45 minutes ago, and I'm sitting in my car typing this out because I need to document it while it's fresh. I coach Little League Baseball in Phoenix. Today was just a normal practice at Desert Ridge Park. Nothing special. We were wrapping up around 5 when this kid I'd never seen before walked up to the dugout. "Coach Marcus?" he said. I turned around. This boy, probably 11 or 12, was standing there in a baseball uniform I didn't recognize. Navy blue with gold trim. Our team wears red. "Yeah, that's me. Can I help you?" He grinned. "You don't know me yet. Mom said you wouldn't." I laughed, thinking he was confused. "You looking for a different team, buddy? The Wildcats practice on field 3. "No, I'm in the right place. I'm just early." He walked over to the bench and sat down like he belonged there. "By about 15 years, Mom says." That stopped me cold. "What?" "I'm Ryan, your son. Well, I will be." He said it so matter-of-factly. "Mom sent me to see you. She said you'd understand when you were ready." "I'm 25. I'm not married. I'm not even dating anyone seriously right now." "Kid, I think you're confused. You have a scar on your left shoulder from when you broke your collarbone sliding into home in college," he interrupted. "You never told anyone you cried that night because you thought it would end your chance at the majors." "I've never told anyone that. Not a soul." "Your lucky number is 17 because that was Grandpa Joe's number when he played for the Sun Devils," he continued. "You still have his glove in your closet, even though the leather's basically falling apart." My hands were shaking. All of that was true. "How do you know this?" I managed to ask. "You told me. You'll tell me." "Time is weird, Dad." He stood up. "I have to go. Mom's waiting." "Wait," I called after him. "Your mom, who is she?" He smiled. "You'll meet her next year. She'll be wearing a yellow sundress and she'll ask you about the best place to get tacos around here. Don't recommend Jose's. Take her to that little place on 3rd Street instead." He jogged toward the parking lot. I followed, but when I rounded the corner, there were only 3 cars there. Mine and 2 belonging to parents who were picking up kids from my team. I asked everyone if they'd seen a kid in a navy and gold uniform. Nobody had seen anything. But here's what's messing with me. There's a baseball sitting on my driver's seat. It wasn't there before practice. It's signed. The signature says, Ryan M., and underneath in smaller writing, 2039 state champs. It's 2024. What the hell just happened to me? All right, so check this out. This next one involves multiple witnesses, which always makes these stories way more compelling. Story 3, The Family Reunion. That Hadn't Happened Yet, by Use Mirror Mom TX. I need to share this because my entire family is freaked out, and we don't know what to make of it. Last month, we had our annual family reunion at my parents' ranch outside Austin. It's a big property, about 40 acres, and we always set up tents and tables near the old barn. This year, about 60 people showed up. Cousins, aunts, uncles, the whole extended family. Around 3 in the afternoon, while everyone was eating barbecue and catching up, these 3 kids nobody recognized showed up. 2 boys and a girl, probably ranging from 8 to 14 years old. They walked right into the reunion like they belonged there. My Aunt Dorothy was the first to approach them. "Hey there, sweethearts. Are you all looking for someone?" The oldest boy smiled. "We're exactly where we're supposed to be, Aunt Dot." Now, only family calls her Aunt Dot. Everyone else calls her Dorothy or Mrs. Patterson. The girl, who looked about 10, ran up to my cousin Sarah and hugged her. "Mama, we found you." Sarah's 23 and definitely doesn't have kids. She just graduated from UT last year. "I'm not your mom, honey," Sarah said, looking uncomfortable. "Not yet," the girl replied. "But you will be. In 7 years." The middle boy walked up to my brother James. "Uncle Jimmy, you promised you'd teach me to throw a curveball." James looked at me, completely bewildered. These kids knew everyone's family nicknames. The youngest boy called my dad Pop Pop, which is weird because none of the current grandkids call him that. They all say, Grandpa. My mom, ever the hostess, offered them plates of food. They knew where everything was. The little girl went straight to the cooler, where my mom always keeps her homemade lemonade. The red cooler specifically, not the blue one with the beer, or the white one with sodas. We can't stay long, the oldest boy announced. We just wanted to see everyone, together, before... He stopped himself. Before what? I asked. Nothing bad, he assured me quickly. Just before things change. They stayed for maybe 20 minutes. They knew details about all of us. The middle boy mentioned my secret tattoo that I'd gotten just a week prior and hadn't shown anyone. The girl knew about Sarah's acceptance to grad school. Sarah hadn't told the family yet because she was waiting for financial aid confirmation. Then, suddenly, the oldest boy stood up. We have to go. They'll be looking for us. Who's looking for you? My mother asked, concerned. Your parents? Yeah, the girl said softly. Our parents. She looked directly at Sarah when she said it. They walked toward the tree line at the edge of the property. Several of us followed, calling after them to wait, asking if they needed rides home. They disappeared into the woods, and when my brother and 2 cousins went after them, they found nothing. No trace. Here's the truly weird part. My cousin took photos throughout the reunion. Dozens of them. The kids appear in the background of 3 photos, clear as day. But in the ones taken when they were supposedly talking to us, eating with us, they're not there. The photos show us talking to empty spaces, holding one-sided conversations. Except for one. There's one photo where the little girl's hand is visible on Sarah's arm, but the rest of her isn't in the frame. Just a floating child's hand. Sarah hasn't been sleeping well since this happened. She says she dreams about the girl calling her Mama and showing her drawings of their house. A house Sarah's never seen, but describes in detail when she wakes up. My brother James bought a book on pitching techniques the day after the reunion. He says he doesn't know why. It just felt important. We've all been on edge, waiting for something to happen, though we don't know what. My mom set an extra place at Sunday dinner last week, without thinking about it. When I asked her why, she looked confused and said, I don't know. It just felt like someone was missing. What do you make of this? Mass hallucination? Time slip? We have the photos. We all saw them. We all remember them. Who were those kids? Here's another one for you, and this one includes some pretty compelling evidence. Story 4. The Yearbook from Tomorrow, by U. Chronomama, 2020. I'm a high school history teacher in Portland, Oregon. I've been teaching for 12 years, and I pride myself on being rational, logical, and evidence-based. What happened to me last September challenges all of that. I was cleaning out my classroom during a teacher workday, going through old boxes in the storage closet, when I found a yearbook I didn't recognize. Roosevelt High School, class of 2038. My school is Roosevelt High, but it was 2023 when this happened. I thought it was a prank, some student's elaborate joke, but when I opened it, my blood ran cold. The production quality was unlike anything I'd seen. The pages felt different, almost like plastic but flexible. The photos were so crisp, they looked 3-dimensional. And there, on page 47, was a faculty photo that included me. I looked older, grayer, wearing glasses I don't own. I sat down at my desk and started going through it page by page. The students all looked normal, contemporary, but their names were strange combinations. Kids with last names I recognized, surnames of current students, but mixed in ways that didn't make sense yet. Then I found her. Page 132, junior class. Sofia Martinez Chen. She looked exactly like a blend of two of my current students, Marco Martinez and Jennifer Chen. Marco and Jennifer are both seniors, and as far as I know, they barely talk to each other. But what really got me was the dedication page. There was a memorial section for 3 students who had passed during their freshman year in the tragic event of 2035. The page didn't specify what the event was, but there was a date, March 15th, 2035. I photographed every page with my phone. I was methodical about it, making sure I had clear shots of everything. Then I closed the yearbook and set it aside while I finished cleaning. When I went to pick it up an hour later, it was gone. Not just gone. There was no indication it had ever been there. The dust pattern on the shelf where I'd set it was undisturbed, but I had the photos on my phone. When I got home and went to look at them, they were corrupted. Every single one. The files were there, but they wouldn't open. Except for one partial image, a single photo that showed half of a page. You can make out part of the junior class photos and 3 visible names, including Sofia Martinez Chen. I've watched Marco and Jennifer like a hawk since then. 2 weeks after I found the yearbook, they were paired for a group project. They've been dating for 8 months now. Last week, Jennifer came to me after class. "Ms. Peterson, this is going to sound weird, but have you ever had dreams about teaching future students, like students who don't exist yet?" I asked her what she meant. "I keep having this dream where I'm older, and I'm bringing my daughter to freshman orientation. She's showing me her schedule, and you're listed as her history teacher, but you look exactly the same as now, just with gray hair and different glasses." She pulled out her phone and showed me a drawing she'd made of the glasses from her dream. They were the same glasses I was wearing in that yearbook photo. "The weird part," Jennifer continued, "is that in the dream, Marco is there too. He's my daughter's father, but Marco and I just started dating. It feels so real, though, like a memory instead of a dream." I didn't tell her about the yearbook. How could I? But I did ask her daughter's name in the dream. "Sophia," she said. "We call her Sophie." I've been teaching long enough to know that high school sweethearts rarely last. The statistics are against Marco and Jennifer, but I also have a corrupted photo on my phone that suggests otherwise. Sometimes Jennifer stays after class to talk about colleges, and she'll mention things like, "when Marco and I have kids," instead of "if." She catches herself and laughs it off, but there's something in her eyes, a certainty that shouldn't be there. Last month, a new student transferred to Roosevelt. His last name is Chen Martinez, with a hyphen. No relation to either Marco or Jennifer. When I saw it on my roster, I actually laughed out loud. The universe has a sense of humor, apparently. I've tried to find that yearbook online, thinking maybe someone was selling them as novelty items or art projects. Nothing. I've searched for printing companies that could produce that quality of book. Nothing matches. But here's what really keeps me up at night. If that yearbook was real, if it was really from 2038, then something happens in 2035. Something tragic. Something that kills 3 students. March 15th, 2035. I have 11 years to figure out what, and hopefully 11 years to stop it. Or maybe I'm just slowly losing my mind. I honestly don't know which possibility scares me more. Does anyone else have experience with physical objects from the future? How is this even possible? Hey, it's me. I want to ask you something a little strange. Do you ever get this feeling when you meet someone new that you've known them your whole life? Not déjà vu exactly, but this deep recognition, like your soul is saying, "Oh, there you are," to someone you've technically never met. I had that happen once at a coffee shop in Seattle. This elderly woman sat down across from me. The place was packed, and we were sharing a table. And she looked at me with such familiarity. She said, "You look good for your age," which was weird because I was 26 and clearly looked it. Then she said, "The gray suits you, though," and touched her own temple. "I don't have any gray hair." She smiled, patted my hand, and said, "See you in 30 years, dear." Then she left. I still think about her sometimes, wondering if I'll meet her again when I'm 56, or if I already did. All right, let's get back to the glitches. Story 5. The Drawing in the Attic by Inherited Memories. My wife and I were cleaning out her deceased grandmother's house in Baltimore last spring, when we found something that still makes my skin crawl. In the attic, inside an old hat box, there was a stack of children's drawings. They were done in crayon, typical kid stuff, houses, trees, stick figures. But at the bottom of the stack was one that made us both freeze. It was a family portrait. 5 stick figures, a mom, a dad, and 3 kids. The names were written in shaky child handwriting. Mommy Emma, Daddy Josh, me, Rosie, Baby Ben, and Baby Kate. Emma is my wife's name. Josh is mine. We'd been trying to have kids for 2 years with no success. We just started IVF treatments. But here's what really messed us up. The drawing was dated. In the corner, in the same child handwriting, June 2028. My wife started crying. This is impossible. Her grandmother had been dead for 3 years. This house had been sealed up since then. Nobody else had a key. And even if someone had broken in to plant fake drawings, how would they know our names? How would they know about our fertility struggles? I took a photo of the drawing. We kept searching the attic and found more. All signed Rosie, all dated between 2028 and 2031. One showed a Christmas tree with presents underneath. The names on the presents were visible, some to Emma and Josh, but also to Grandma, Helen, and Grandpa David. Helen is my mother's name. David is my father's name. In another drawing, there was a yellow house with a red door, and the number 847 on it. We live in apartment 15B. We've never lived in a house. 3 weeks after we found the drawings, my wife discovered she was pregnant. The IVF had worked. We were cautiously optimistic, trying not to get too excited. At the 20-week ultrasound, we found out it was twins, a boy and a girl. We haven't named them yet. We're afraid to. But sometimes my wife talks to her belly and almost says Ben or Kate before catching herself. Last month, I was driving a different route to work because of construction. I passed a yellow house with a for sale sign. It had a red door. The house number was 847. I didn't tell Emma, but I did call the realtor. Just to look, I told myself. The inside was exactly what you'd expect from a child's drawing. Simple layout, big backyard, perfect for a family of 5. The realtor mentioned the previous owners had to sell quickly due to a job relocation. They'd only owned it for a year. Before that, it had been in the same family for generations. The family's name? Rosewood. Rosie for short. I asked if they had kids. The realtor said no. The Rosewoods were an elderly couple. Their children had all grown up and moved away decades ago. But there was a child's bedroom that had been preserved exactly as it was in the 1960s. Pink walls, toy chest, small wooden desk by the window. The realtor said it had belonged to their daughter who died young, and they never had the heart to change it. Her name was Rose. She died in 1963, when she was 7. The same age the Rosie who drew those pictures would be in 2028. We're buying the house. Emma doesn't know about the connection to the drawings. I just told her it felt right. We close next month. The twins are due in September. Sometimes I wake up at night thinking about those drawings in the attic. About a little girl named Rose who died 60 years ago. About our daughter who doesn't exist yet, but somehow already signed her name to pictures of our future. Is it possible that time isn't linear? That past, present, and future are all happening simultaneously, and sometimes they bleed through? I'm a software engineer. I believe in logic and code and things that can be proven. But I'm buying a house because a dead girl drew it for us 4 years before my daughter will supposedly draw the same picture. Story 6. The Jacket. From Yesterday's Tomorrow, by you, Temporal Threads. Quick one, but I can't stop thinking about it. My 16-year-old son came home from school 2 days ago wearing a Letterman jacket. Roosevelt High, class of 2027. He's a freshman. It's 2024. Where did you get that? I asked. He looked confused. It's mine. I've always had it. No, you haven't. And how can you have a class of 2027 jacket? He looked at the jacket, then at me, and his face went white. Mom, why does it say 2027? The thing is, it's definitely his. His name is embroidered on the front, Tyler M. It has patches for achievements. Varsity Baseball 2026, State Champions 2027, Academic All-Star 2025, 2027. Tyler doesn't play baseball. He's in the drama club. I tried to take the jacket to examine it, but when I touched it, it felt wrong. Like static electricity, but cold. Tyler yanked it away and ran to his room. That night, I heard him talking to someone. When I opened his door, he was alone. But the jacket was on his desk chair, and I swear it was positioned differently than when I'd walked in. Yesterday morning, Tyler came down for breakfast in his normal hoodie. I asked about the jacket. "What jacket?" he said. I went to his room. No jacket. Checked his closet, his laundry, everywhere. Nothing. But here's the kicker. I found a photo on his phone from 2 days ago. He's wearing the jacket, standing with 3 kids I don't recognize. The timestamp says May 15th, 2027, 3:47 p.m. It's October 2024. Tyler doesn't remember taking the photo. He doesn't remember the kids in it. But he started doing push-ups every morning and asked if he could join a baseball camp next summer. I don't know why, he told me. I just feel like I'm supposed to. Is my son's future reaching back to claim him? Or is something else happening here? This next one really got me because of all the documentation involved. Story 7. The Pregnancy Test Paradox, by you, Quantum Mother 44. I'm submitting this with my husband's permission because we both need answers, and frankly, we're running out of people who don't think we're crazy. In January 2023, I was organizing our bathroom cabinet when I found a positive pregnancy test. Problem was, I hadn't taken a pregnancy test. I was on birth control and had no reason to take one. I confronted my husband, thinking maybe he'd had an affair or something. He was as confused as I was. The test was definitely used. You could see the 2 lines clearly. But neither of us recognized the brand. And when I looked it up, it didn't exist. The company name on it was Future Care Medical. I took my own test, just to be sure. Negative. I wasn't pregnant. We threw the mysterious test away and tried to forget about it. A month later, I found another one. Different bathroom, different cabinet. Same brand that doesn't exist. This one had a date written on it in my handwriting. August 3rd, 2025. It's happening. I don't write in all caps like that. Ever. My husband installed cameras in our house. We were genuinely concerned someone was breaking in and planting these things. For weeks, nothing happened. Then on March 15th, 2023, we caught something on camera. At 3:17 a.m., the bathroom door opened by itself. There was a flash of light, like a camera flash but longer, maybe 2 seconds. Then nothing. When we checked the bathroom, there was another pregnancy test. Positive. This one had a photo attached to it, with a paperclip. An ultrasound showing twins. The ultrasound was dated November 15th, 2025. The Iowa patient name was mine. The hospital was listed as St. Mary's Women's Center. There is no St. Mary's Women's Center in our city. We checked neighboring cities too. Nothing. But here's where it gets truly weird. The ultrasound tech's name was listed as S. Patterson. My maiden name is Patterson. My sister Sarah is in her second year of medical school, studying to become an ultrasound technician. I called Sarah. She laughed and said she's planning to specialize in cardiac ultrasounds, not obstetrics. But then she paused and said, "Although I had this weird dream last week where you were pregnant with twins, and I was doing your ultrasound. You were wearing this yellow dress with flowers on it." I had just bought a yellow dress with flowers on it. It was still in the bag with the tags on. I hadn't even shown it to anyone yet. We kept finding tests. Always positive, always with dates in 2025 or 2026. Always that same non-existent brand. We've collected 17 of them now. We keep them in a locked box because we don't know what else to do. In June 2023, my period was late. I took a real test. Negative. But the next morning, there was another future care test on my nightstand. This one had a sticky note. "Not yet. Be patient." E. E is what my family calls me. Emma. It was my handwriting, but older somehow. More confident. In September 2023, we decided to stop trying to understand it and just accept it. We've been living normally, or as normally as you can, when future pregnancy tests keep appearing in your house. 2 weeks ago, October 2024, my husband got a promotion. His new insurance plan is incredible. Full fertility treatment coverage, which we'd never been able to afford before. The insurance company? They're partnering with a new medical technology firm starting in 2025. Want to guess the name? Future Care Medical. They don't exist yet, but apparently they will. Yesterday, I found a note in my jewelry box, tucked under my wedding ring. My handwriting again. Start trying. January 2025. Trust yourself. You already know it works. E. We have a consultation with a fertility specialist in January. We booked it this morning. The doctor's name? Dr. S. Patterson. Different S. Patterson. Dr. Samuel Patterson. No relation. But the coincidence made us laugh. Or maybe it's not a coincidence. Maybe nothing is anymore. The tests keep appearing. We've stopped checking the cameras because we know we won't see anything useful. Just flashes of light and then evidence of a future that insists on making itself known. My sister Sarah called last week. She's switching her specialization to obstetrics. She said she couldn't explain why. It just felt right. Like something I'm supposed to do, she said. I didn't tell her about the ultrasounds. How do you tell someone they're going to scan your future twins at a hospital that doesn't exist yet? Story 8. The Lullaby I Never Learned by you, Melody Momindamino. This is going to sound completely insane, but my 3-year-old daughter knows a lullaby that I sing to her in the future. Let me explain. My daughter Ava has always been difficult at bedtime. We've tried everything: white noise, meditation music, reading stories, even those fancy night lights that project stars. Nothing consistently works. Last Tuesday, I was at my wit's end. She'd been crying for an hour, and I was exhausted from work. I sat on her bed and said, "Ava, please, what you need to sleep." She stopped crying and looked at me. "Sing me the special song." "What special song, honey?" "The one you made for me, about the moon girl." I've never made up a song for her. I'm terrible at singing, and even worse at making up lyrics. "I don't know that song, sweetie." She sat up, frustrated. "Yes, you do. You sing it every night." "Can you sing it for me?" I asked. And she did. In perfect pitch, with complex lyrics no 3-year-old should know. Moon girl dancing in the silver light, stars are calling through the gentle night. Tomorrow's dreams are waiting to come true. The future's bright when I'm with you. Time may bend and time may flow, but love's the only truth we need to know. The melody was beautiful, intricate, the kind of thing that takes musical training to compose. I don't have musical training. Where did you learn that, Ava? From you, Mama. You sing it every night after my baby brother is born. I'm not pregnant. We're not planning another child. My husband had a vasectomy last year, but Ava was insistent. You stand by the window with baby James, and you sing the Moon Girl song, and then you sing it to me, and then we all sleep good. She's mentioned baby James before, always in passing, like he's already here. When James gets bigger, or James doesn't like carrots either. After she fell asleep, yes, the song worked. I recorded myself humming what I could remember of the melody into my phone. The next day, I played it for my mother, who's a piano teacher. She went pale. "Where did you hear that?" "Ava sang it to me." "Why?" She pulled out old sheet music from her bench. It was handwritten, dated 1962. The melody was identical to what Ava had sung. The title at the top, Moon Girl's Lullaby. "Your grandmother wrote this when she was pregnant with me," my mother said. "She died when I was 2. I've never played it for anyone. I can't even play it properly. It's too complex. How does Ava know this?" We compared the lyrics. They were different from what Ava sang, but the melody was note for note the same. That night, Ava asked for the Moon Girl song again. This time, I tried to sing it with her. Somehow I knew the words. Not consciously, but my mouth knew where to go, what sounds to make. It felt like muscle memory for something I'd never done. Ava smiled. "You're learning it. Soon you'll sing it right, like you do in the Tomorrow Times." "The Tomorrow Times?" "When I'm bigger and James is here, and we live in the blue house with the garden. We live in an apartment. We've never talked about moving." But yesterday, my husband came home excited. His company is offering a relocation package if he transfers to their Portland office. They showed him the corporate housing options. One is a blue Victorian with a garden. I haven't told him about the song yet. How do you tell your husband that your daughter is teaching you a lullaby from a future where we have another child he's physically incapable of fathering? Last night, Ava said something that chilled me. "In the Tomorrow Times, you cry when you sing the Moon Girl song. You say it reminds you of Grandma Rose." My grandmother's name was Margaret. I don't know anyone named Rose, but I'm starting to think I will. Hey, it's me again. Something I've been thinking about while going through all these stories. What if our children exist outside of time? Like, what if the bond between parent and child is so strong that it transcends linear time? I know that sounds very woo-woo, and I'm usually the skeptical type, but when you see this many similar stories, patterns start to emerge. These aren't just random glitches. They're specifically about connection, about love that hasn't happened yet, but somehow already exists. It makes you wonder if everything we think we know about causality is just our limited perception of something much bigger. Anyway, let's keep going. These next ones get even stranger. Story 9. The Christmas Photo. We Haven't Taken by Yu Guru December, Dad 35. My wife found a photo that shouldn't exist, and it's been destroying us both for the past 6 weeks. We were going through old boxes in storage, looking for Halloween decorations, when she found a Christmas card tucked inside a box of her college textbooks. The card showed our family, me, her, and 3 kids, sitting in front of a massive Christmas tree. Professional quality, everyone in matching red sweaters, the works. We don't have kids. We've been trying for 4 years. But there we were, older, grayer, smiling with 3 children who looked exactly like perfect combinations of our features. The oldest, a boy, had my wife's eyes and my nose. The middle child, a girl, had my dimples and my wife's hair. The youngest, another boy, looked like my baby pictures come to life. The back of the card was printed, "Merry Christmas 2031. Love from the Anderson family, Tom, Janet, Michael, Zoe, and little Tommy. We're the Andersons. I'm Tom, she's Janet. But the date? It's 2024. Janet started sobbing. These weren't just any kids. They looked like our kids. The way you know your own face in the mirror, we knew these were ours. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe someone was pranking us, used AI to age us up and create fake children. But the details were too specific. The oldest boy had a small scar above his left eyebrow, the exact place where I have a scar from a childhood accident. The girl was wearing a necklace with a small charm that looked like the one Janet inherited from her grandmother, except it had additional charms we didn't recognize. Then Janet noticed the background. It wasn't just any house. It was her childhood home in Michigan, but renovated. The wallpaper was different, modern. The staircase had been refinished, but it was definitely that house. Her parents sold it in 2018 after her dad died. We called the current owners. They were confused, but nice enough to check. No renovations matched what we saw in the photo. The wallpaper in the living room was still the old floral pattern from the 80s. That night, Janet couldn't stop staring at the photo. "Michael looks about 12, she said. "That means he'd be born in 2019. But it's 2024. We missed him. We missed our oldest son." I tried to comfort her, tell her it wasn't real, but she pointed to something I hadn't noticed. In the corner of the photo, partially visible, was a newspaper on a side table. I used my phone to zoom in. The headline was clear. President Martinez signs climate agreement. There is no President Martinez. I looked it up. No major politician with that name anywhere. We've kept the card hidden in our bedroom drawer. Sometimes I catch Janet holding it, tracing the children's faces with her finger. She's memorized their features. She talks about them like they're real, like they're just waiting to be born. "Michael would be 5 now," she said yesterday. "We're so behind schedule." The thing that haunts me most is how happy we look in that photo. Not posed happy, but genuinely joyful. The kind of worn-out but content happiness I see in my friends who have kids. My future self has his arm around Janet, and you can see wedding rings, but they're different from our current ones. Upgraded, maybe, or replaced. Why would we replace them? Last week, we were shopping for groceries when a little boy ran past us in the cereal aisle. Janet grabbed my arm so tight it hurt. "That's him," she whispered. "That's Michael." It wasn't, of course, just some random kid with brown hair. But the boy stopped, looked back at us, and waved. His mother apologized, said she didn't know why he did that. He's usually shy with strangers. "He knows us," Janet said after they left. He just doesn't know how yet. We've started fertility treatments again. The doctor says we're good candidates for IVF. Janet wants to try to have 3 kids, spacing them out to match the ages in the photo. I don't have the heart to tell her how insane that sounds. But late at night, when I look at that impossible Christmas card, I do the math too. If we started now, really pushed, we could match that timeline. Michael by 2025, Zoe by 2027, Tommy by 2029. We'd be ready for that Christmas photo in 2031. The rational part of me knows this is impossible. Photos from the future don't just appear in old boxes. But the father in me, the father I'm not yet, wants those kids to exist. I've already fallen in love with children who haven't been born. Is it prophecy or madness? Are we seeing what will be or what could have been? I guess we'll know in 7 years. Story 10. She calls me daddy by you not a father. Yet this is short, but it's messing with my head. Last Saturday, I was at Target in Denver doing my weekly shopping. I'm 28, single, focused on my career. Kids aren't even on my radar right now. I was in the toy section looking for a birthday gift for my nephew when this little girl, maybe 4 years old, came running around the corner and crashed right into my legs. "Daddy," she squealed, hugging my knees. "You found me." I froze. This kid had my exact hair texture, this weird, coarse, wavy pattern that nobody in my family has, except me and my grandfather. Her skin tone was lighter than mine, but her features, it was like looking at my childhood photos with a feminine twist. "Hey, sweetheart, I'm not your daddy," I said gently, trying to extract myself. She looked up at me with these huge hazel eyes, my mother's eyes, and her face scrunched up in confusion. "Yes, you are. You're just younger." She studied my face. "You don't have your beard yet." I've never grown a beard. Can't, actually. My facial hair comes in too patchy. "Where's your mommy?" I asked. "She's coming. She's always late." The kid laughed like this was an inside joke. "You always say she'll be late to her own funeral." That's exactly what my dad says about my mom. Word for word. A woman's voice called out, "Lily, where are you?" The little girl sighed dramatically, a perfect imitation of my mother's sigh. "Coming, Mama." Then she looked at me and whispered, "Don't worry, you'll remember me later." She ran off toward the voice. I followed, had to see who this kid belonged to. But when I turned the corner, the aisle was empty. I searched the entire toy section, asked employees if they'd seen a woman with a little girl. Nothing. But here's the thing. I have a handprint on my jeans where she hugged me. It's like those paint handprints kids make in preschool, except there was no paint on her hands. It's just there, slightly darker than the denim, child-sized, permanent. I've washed these jeans 3 times. It won't come out. And since Saturday, I've been having dreams. The same little girl, but older, 6, 7, 8, teaching her to ride a bike, reading bedtime stories, her first day of school. Dreams so vivid I wake up expecting to hear her calling for me. The woman's voice that called for her. I can't shake the feeling I know it, but I can't place it. It's familiar like a song you know, but can't remember the words to. What kind of glitch is this? Story 11. The Birthday Party Time Loop by Yu Looping Mom 2024. I need to document this while I'm still in the middle of it, because I don't know when it's going to stop, or if I'll remember it clearly afterward. My son's 10th birthday party keeps happening, but wrong. Let me start from the beginning. October 20th, 2024, was supposed to be my son Dylan's 10th birthday party. We'd rented the community center, invited 20 kids, ordered a dinosaur cake, the works. But Dylan woke up that morning with strep throat. We had to cancel everything. October 27th, I woke up to my phone ringing. The community center confirming our party reservation for that day. I explained we'd cancelled the previous week, but they had no record of the cancellation. While I was on the phone, Dylan came bounding into my room, completely healthy, wearing the birthday shirt we'd bought him. "Is it party time?" he asked, excited. My husband was confused too. He remembered Dylan being sick, but Dylan didn't. Neither did the community center. Neither did any of the parents when they started showing up with their kids. So we went with it. Had the party. Everything went perfectly until the cake cutting. When Dylan blew out the candles, the flames didn't go out. They flickered, grew brighter, and then everything went white. I woke up in my bed. It was October 20th again. 6:00 a.m. My phone was ringing, the community center confirming our reservation. This has happened 14 times now. Each time is slightly different. Sometimes Dylan is sick. Sometimes he isn't. Sometimes different kids show up. Once, a little girl named Emma showed up claiming to be Dylan's sister. We don't have a daughter. Dylan seemed to know her, introduced her to his friends as my baby sister from next time. The 7th loop my mother attended. She's been dead for 3 years. She walked in like it was normal, helped me serve cake, kissed Dylan on the forehead. I couldn't speak. I just stood there crying while she acted like nothing was unusual. She hugged me before leaving and whispered, "Stop fighting it, sweetie. Let them through." The 10th loop, there were 3 cakes, all dinosaur-themed but different designs. Dylan said, "Oh, good, all of them made it this time," like he'd been expecting multiple cakes. Loop 12 was the worst. Or best. I don't know anymore. Dylan was 17. Still my Dylan, but older, taller, voice deeper. He recognized me but was confused. "Mom, why are you so young?" The other kids at the party were also teenagers, including Emma, definitely his sister, definitely my daughter who doesn't exist. She called me Mom, hugged me. She smelled like my perfume. The most recent loop, yesterday. Today. Time doesn't mean anything anymore. Dylan was 10 again, but there were 2 of him. Both definitely Dylan. Both definitely 10 years old. Both wearing the same birthday shirt. They played together like it was normal. When I asked my husband if he noticed, he looked at them and said, "Notice what? They're getting along great today." They. Plural. Like we'd always had twins. I'm writing this during loop 15, or maybe 16. I'm losing count. This time, the party is happening, but I'm the only adult here. The kids are supervising themselves, playing games I don't recognize, eating food I didn't prepare. Dylan keeps introducing me to children who call me Grandma, even though they look nothing like him. There's a woman here now. She looks exactly like me, but older, maybe 60s. She's helping serve cake. She winked at me and mouthed, "Just go with it." I watched her hug Dylan, my Dylan, and he called her Mom. I think I'm seeing every possible version of this birthday party. Every timeline where it did happen, could happen, will happen. They're all bleeding together, and Dylan seems to be the anchor point. He just walked up to me, this loop's Dylan, and said, "Don't worry, Mum. It's almost over. We just needed to make sure everyone got to celebrate." "Everyone who?" I asked. "All of me. All of Emma. All of you." He pointed around the room. I counted 7 versions of myself, all different ages, all serving cake or hanging decorations or comforting crying children. The timeline got twisted. We're untwisting it. There's a man here who looks like my husband but older. He's got gray hair and wrinkles, I know. He's watching a teenage Dylan play with a toddler Emma. Both children we don't have, or don't have yet, or had in timelines that got erased. The candles are being lit again. All the Dylans are gathering around the cake. All the me's are singing. I'm singing, even though I don't remember starting. When they blow out the candles this time, I know something will change. I can feel it building, like pressure before a storm. The woman who looks like older me just grabbed my hand. "Remember this," she said urgently. "Remember all of them. The timeline is choosing, but you can remember if you try. Don't let them fade." The Dylans are taking a breath. The candles are flickering. I see Emma clearly now. Not the teenager, but a baby in one of my other self's arms. She has my mother's eyes. The same ones the little girl in the store had. The same ones from the Christmas photo. The same ones from every story we've been telling ourselves about children who visit before they're born. The candles go out. I'm in my bed. It's November 3rd, 2024. Dylan's birthday was 2 weeks ago. He was sick. We cancelled the party. That's the real timeline, the one that stuck. But I remember the others. All of them. And sometimes, when I'm setting the table, I put out extra plates. When I do laundry, I fold clothes that aren't there. When I check on Dylan at night, I peek into an empty room across the hall. Emma's room, or what would be Emma's room if she existed. Dylan remembers too, I think. Yesterday he asked if we could have a make-up birthday party. "Just a small one," he said. "Maybe with Emma." "Who's Emma?" my husband asked. Dylan looked at me, confused. "You know. Emma." "I do know. I remember. She's our daughter who isn't, might be. She's every possibility that got twisted up in whatever cosmic glitch gave us 14 alternate birthday parties. She's the child I'm probably pregnant with right now, though I haven't taken a test yet. I'm afraid to. Afraid it'll be negative. Afraid it'll be positive. Afraid of which timeline we're actually in. Dylan wants a sister named Emma for Christmas. He's been very specific about it. I think he might get his wish. All right, I need a minute here. That last story really got to me. You know what's wild? My nephew just turned 10 last month, and we had to cancel his party because he got sick. Nothing weird happened with us, thank God, but reading that made me think about all the small moments that could have gone differently. Like, what if every decision we make creates alternate timelines, and sometimes they crash into each other? What if déjà vu is just us briefly syncing up with another version of ourselves? I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But when you read enough of these stories, you start to question the nature of reality itself. Like, are we all just... Okay, sorry, I'm getting too philosophical. Let me get back on track with one more story before we dive into the historical stuff. Story 12, The Son Who Saved Me, by Preemptive Dad. I met my son 13 years before he was born, and he saved my life. I was 22, living in Chicago, deeply depressed, and standing on the Lake Street Bridge at 2 a.m. on a freezing January night in 2008. I don't need to spell out why I was there. You can figure it out. A teenager appeared beside me. Not walked up. Appeared. 1 second I was alone. The next, this kid, maybe 15 or 16, was standing there in a Bears hoodie and jeans, no coat despite it being about 10 degrees. "Hey, Dad," he said casually, like we were meeting for coffee. I turned to look at him fully. He had my nose, my jaw, my grandfather's eyes. But his skin was darker than mine, and his hair had a curl pattern I recognized but didn't have myself. "I'm not anyone's dad," I told him. "Not yet." He leaned against the railing next to me, looking out at the black water. "You've got about 13 years before I show up." Well, the baby version of me I should have walked away, but something kept me there. Maybe it was the way he looked at me, with such familiar love, the way my own father used to before he died. "You're going to meet Mom in 6 months," he continued. "July 4th weekend, Lincoln Park. She'll be wearing a yellow sundress and she'll accidentally spill her beer on your shoes. You'll pretend to be mad for about 5 seconds, then you'll see her face, and forget why you ever wanted to be anywhere but right there." "This isn't real," I said. "Real enough." He pulled out a wallet, my wallet, but worn and older, and showed me a photo. It was me, older, grayer, with a beautiful woman in a yellow sundress and 2 kids, the teenager next to me and a younger girl. "That's us at my high school graduation, year 2039. Mom cries, you cry. Even Jasmine cries, and she claims she never cries." "Jasmine?" "My little sister, your daughter. She's annoying, but I love her." He put the wallet away. "She becomes a doctor. I become an engineer like you always wanted to be before you gave up on it." "I didn't give up. I couldn't afford." "You go back to school in 2011. Mom pushes you to do it. Says she didn't fall in love with a quitter." He smiled. "You graduate in 2013, get your first engineering job that September, and buy Mom a ring with your first real paycheck." The wind picked up, brutal and cold. I shivered. He didn't. "Why are you here?" I asked him. "Because you're here, and you can't be here. Not for this." He gestured at the bridge, the water, the reason I'd come. "If you do this tonight, I never exist. Jasmine never exists. Mom marries some accountant named Brad and spends her whole life wondering about the man she spilled beer on, who she never saw again. This is just my brain trying to stop me." "Maybe," he shrugged. "Or maybe time isn't as linear as you think. Maybe love is so powerful, it can reach backward, send a son to save his father before he's even conceived." He turned to face me fully. "Marcus James Thompson, you are going to be an amazing father. You're going to teach me to ride a bike and throw a curveball and solve differential equations. You're going to walk Jasmine down the aisle. You're going to hold Mom's hand through 47 years of marriage, until she goes first, and you follow her 6 months later, because you never learned how to live without her." I was crying. When had I started crying? "That's your future," he said. "That's what's waiting for you. But only if you step back from this railing right now and go home." "What's your name?" I asked. "David. David Marcus Thompson, after both grandfathers." He smiled. "You call me DJ until I'm 12, and tell you it's embarrassing." A police car drove by slowly. I looked away for a second, and when I looked back, DJ was gone. But there was something in my pocket that wasn't there before. A folded piece of paper. It was a child's drawing. Crayon on construction paper. 4 stick figures labeled Daddy, Mommy, Me, and Jazzy. At the bottom, in careful child handwriting, "I love you, Daddy. DJ, age 5. I still have that drawing. It's framed in my office. I met my wife Denise 6 months later. July 4th, Lincoln Park. Yellow sundress. Spilled beer. We married in 2010. Went back to school in 2011. Graduated 2013. First engineering job that September. David was born January 15th, 2021. He's 3 now. He looks exactly like the teenager on the bridge, just smaller. He draws constantly, always family pictures. Jasmine was born August 2023. She's 1 and already trying to run before she can walk properly. Sometimes I watch DJ David playing, and I wonder if he knows, if he'll remember. When he's 16, will he suddenly have memories of standing on a bridge in 2008, saving a father who wasn't ready to be saved any other way? Last week, he was coloring at the kitchen table and looked up at me. Daddy, when I'm big, will you still love me? Forever and always, buddy. Even if I have to go away sometimes to help people. Even then. He smiled and went back to coloring. The picture was of a bridge. 2 figures standing on it. One big, one small. That's you and me, he said, even though I hadn't asked. Sometimes we stand on bridges together. I think he knows. I think he's always known. I think maybe all our children know. Know us before we know them. Love us before we love ourselves. Save us before we know we need saving. Time isn't linear. Love isn't bound by physics. And sometimes, just sometimes, the universe bends its own rules to make sure the right people find each other. Even if one of them hasn't been born yet.